start with your feet sit bones width apart, so about 3 inches apart. All 10 toes pointed forward. Take a moment. You're going to pick up your toes, but the balls of the feet are, so I'm not rocking back onto my heels. The balls of my feet are on the mat, just my toes are picking up. I'm going to spread them out and then put them back down and rock the feet in and out just a little bit, feeling the weight shift from the inside of the foot to the outside of the foot. And then see if you can find that spot in the middle where the big toe, pinky toe, and center of the heel of both feet. And notice if it's not the same, like my left foot likes to roll in a little bit, so I have to be a little more conscious of my one foot versus the other to get those tripod feet. Now shift your weight just a little bit forward and backwards, not so much that the toes or heels come off the floor. And kind of notice what your pelvis does, what the rest of the body does to keep yourself from falling over when you shift your weight forward and backwards. And just know it's very common when we're not paying attention to shift forward. I'll turn sideways so you can see. It's very common to end up sort of like this throughout our day. So just something to kind of keep in mind if you notice that on yourself or not. I will catch myself, especially baby holding. I'll catch myself like that and go, oh, nope, shift myself back. And find the weight where it's equal between the balls of the feet, the toes, and your heels. Okay, so, and also think about the arches of the feet. Imagine there's like a little bubble underneath that arch, like floating the arch slightly away from the floor, not so much that the toes or heels come off the floor. And then let the arch of the foot, imagine it flattening into the floor. Just let it relax into the floor. And then imagine just a slight lift. It's a little pressing down of the toes. Imagine the arch lifting just a little bit away. To me, this reminds me when I used to take piano lessons. My teacher used to say, imagine there's a little bubble underneath your hand so to keep the hand and the fingers curved over the piano keys. And then let the feet just flatten. One more time, imagine that little bubble lifting the arches away from the floor. We're going to keep that position. So again, spread out toes. Toes are pressing down, your tripod feet, and the arch is lifting. Place your hands onto your belly. Take a breath into your hands and fill your belly with air. Exhale, draw your belly in towards your spine. And as the belly is drawing in, it's going in and up to where your bra strap clasps in the back. So it's a little scooping action of the abdominals. You can also think of it as a zipper from your pubic bone up towards your navel, zipping up as you exhale. One more breath. Keep the belly drawing in. Slide your hands up to your rib cage. Take a breath into your hands. Exhale, cinch in your waist. Draw your navel in towards your spine. And while you're standing here breathing, watch that your knees are not locked back into place, that they're straight, but you could easily bend them if you needed to. 2 more breaths. Breathing back to where your thumbs are. One more breath like this. Then I'm going to turn sideways again. You're going to place one hand on your breastbone, and then the back of the hand just below your bra strap. You're going to breathe equally into your hand that's at your sternum and the hand on the back. And then exhale, cinch in your waist. Draw your navel in towards your spine so you can grow a little bit taller. You feel the back of the neck is lengthening, that the bottom of the skull is actually going up away from your shoulders just ever so slightly. Not so much that the chin drops down, but a little lifting of the head, almost like your head is a balloon floating up towards the ceiling. One more breath. And turn back to the front. Now bring your chin down towards your throat. Lengthen that spine in the back even more, so that bottom of the skull is going even more towards the ceiling as the chin drops down. Then lift your chin up towards the ceiling and feel the back of the skull drop down. So the whole head is kind of rolling forward and back. You nod your head yes. Bring your head back to level. You're going to turn your head to the right and turn your head to the left. Notice how that feels. Does it feel equal? And actually, surprisingly, today, usually one side for me feels easier than the other, but actually today, they feel pretty symmetrical. So just know from one day to the next, it's not always the same. Come back to center. Now tip your head to the right and tip your head to the left. And keep breathing. And then come back to center and take the tip of your nose. You're going to draw a circle with the tip of your nose on the wall in front of you. Don't go too fast. I don't want you to feel like you're on a roller coaster. One more circle. And then reverse the direction. One more time. Bring your gaze back to center. Grab your weights. Then get your tripod feet again. For now, just have your weights down by your hips, like just in your bony hip, like where your bony hip points are up here. Just put them below that in the little creases of your hips. And we're going to come into a squat. So what we're trying to do, not that we're squeezing it, but as we crease at the front of the pelvis, at that femoral fold, you're going to feel kind of your body, like where your ASAS point is the bony part of the pelvis, and the leg kind of closing around your weight. So it's not that it's giving it a squeeze, but you're going to feel it's open. There's lots of space for your weights. And then as you come into a squat, you're going to feel your body close around or hinge around those weights and then stand back up again. So we're just using the weights for a moment for some feedback on our squats. As we're doing our squats, if I'm doing kind of the ballet version, I'm not going to feel that closing feeling because the front of the pelvis stays pretty open when we just bend the knees. But as we stick the rear out and widen the sit bones and narrow the front of the pelvis and crease the femoral folds, you're going to feel your body closing in around those weights. So widen those sit bones, stick your tush out, narrow the sit bones, and stand back up. Also watching that you don't overdo it. We're not trying to shove the pelvis forward or clench the cheeks, the butt cheeks. We're just narrowing the sit bones. There's a little activation here at the gluteal fold. But watch it, you're not clenching those muscles. Two more times like this. Now have the weights in your hands. Palms are facing up. Take your weights and reach forward. Bend your elbows back by your sides. We're going to combine this with squats in just a moment. And the hard part with squats is a lot of times it's the front of the thighs that gets the workout. That's part of it. Can you get the tush, the butt cheeks, the gluteal fold down the back of the leg? In other words, the same action of the body as bridging. It's just the standing version. So you want to still try to have some sensation of those muscles working just like you would in a bridge. One more time. Now as you squat, you're going to reach the weights forward and then stand back up. Try the breath. We're going to experiment a bit. Try exhaling as you reach forward and squat back. Inhale as you stand up. Try that a few times. Now reverse the breathing. You're going to breathe in as you squat. Breathe out as you stand back up. And you're going to choose which one you like the best for today. Four more. One more time. Now, I'm going to turn myself to face front. Take your weights. You're going to rest them on your shoulders. Take your arms from here either straight up in the air or out to a V. Keeping in mind it's not exactly straight over your head. It's slightly forward so that you can keep your neutral spine. That all depends on the flexibility of your shoulders, exactly where that arm goes up over your head. But again, keeping neutral, either arms more parallel to each other or out in a V, back to your shoulders. So here's for me what feels good for my shoulders. I can go to here. If I try to go much beyond that, I can feel my chest and my pelvis. My pelvis starts to tip forward, my chest starts to open, and I'm no longer in neutral. So I'm keeping neutral. So my arms have to go slightly forward. But again, everyone's a little bit different. You can experiment, like, what if I go further back? Can I keep my neutrals? I do that? Yes or no? The answer is no. Bring the arms slightly forward. If you feel like it's uncomfortable, the shoulders start to hike with the arms too close to each other, move them a little further apart. So again, another chance to experiment what feels the best. One more time, finishing with the elbows straight, the arms up towards the ceiling. You're gonna bring your shoulders up to your ears, shoulders relax away from your ears. Shoulders go up and down. Keep breathing. Can you get them to lift and lower equally? Two more. Last one, drop the shoulders down away from your ears, open your arms to muscle man arms, and make little circles with your arms for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, reverse the circle for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower the arms down. We're not quite done. Let the weights, let the arms relax down. So you're holding onto your weights, but that's helping to drop the shoulders away from your ears. You're gonna bring your shoulders up to your ears and let them relax back down. Let those weights help to drop the shoulders. So this one's the easier version. The arms over your head is harder. But again, shoulders are lifting equally. Notice if one wants to go higher than they're like my left shoulder. It likes to hike up a little bit more than my right. So I'm trying to just be aware of that they go together. One more time, up and down, and take the shoulders in a circle. Trying to make them symmetrical and that they should feel good. And one tip from a man named Eric Franklin, he created what's called the Franklin Method. And his focus in movement is on the joy of moving. And part of that's not just, okay, she said to do so many circles. I'm doing my circles. Can you think, oh, I love circles. I love to circle my shoulders around. Oh, that feels so good. So every time you move, you should think like how nice this feels. Like tell yourself this feels so good and see if it makes a difference in how it actually feels. And now reverse the circle. So I find like shoulder circles feel nice. But if I think, oh, they feel so good, they actually do feel so good. They actually feel better than when I'm just, oh, I'm going to do my circles without having any kind of emotion connected to them. So thinking like, oh, it feels so nice. So there's joy in all the movements that you do, and it's intentional that you're purposely trying to feel joy as you do the movement. So that's again coming from Eric Franklin. If you want more information about him or his method, I can send you info. And one more time, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. Step 1 foot back. You have 2 options. You can either step slightly back, so the back heel is down and you feel a gentle stretch along the back of the leg, and the front knee is slightly bent. You can stay there, and we're going to do some arm work with the weights. If you want, you could also step it further back if you want a deeper stretch, but still feels comfortable. Or you can step it far enough back that the heel, move my pillow, that the heel is off the floor. And so it's a little more challenging for balance. Your choice. So in the heel off the floor in a little deeper lunge or a little narrower lunge with the heel dropping. I'm going to go for the stretch for the moment, but your choice how you want to do it. This might be enough of a balance challenge as well. And even though 1 foot steps back, the distance between the feet really is the same as it was before, that 3 inches apart. And standing nice and tall, trying to keep the pelvis as upright as possible as you can with one leg back behind you. You're going to take the weights, palms facing down by your sides. So the weights are facing you. Collarbones are wide. Take your arms back behind you. Bring your arms back by your sides. So one thing you're watching for is that you don't arch and lose your neutral. It's just my arms going back. I'm trying not to do too much with my rib cage or my spine. Also, watch as the arms go back, the shoulders don't round forward. Can you keep the collarbones wide? Imagine those collarbones staying lifted as the arms swing back. And then keep the arms back behind you. The upper arm bone will hold still. You're going to bend your elbows and straighten your elbows, reaching those weights back behind you. So watch as you bend the elbows. The arms don't also, the whole arm doesn't swing forward. It's just the elbow bending and straightening. Again, trying to keep your neutral. So I'm trying to keep the front rib cage a little narrow, my navel in towards my spine. 2 more times, and you keep the elbows straight. Make little circles for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now it's time to switch feet. So step the feet back together. Again, either a narrow lunge or a deeper lunge. Have the feet closer together, wider apart. So with the heel either down for a little stretch, or the foot further back so the heel's off the floor for more a harder balance challenge. All 10 toes are pointed forward, and check that both kneecaps are pointed forward as well. So take the weights by your sides, the arms will swing back into the same series again. Arms swing back, and then back by your sides. Again, watching that you don't lose your neutral, the chest doesn't open too much. We're trying to keep the rib cage quiet, and also the shoulders aren't rounding forward as the arms go back. We're seeing how far the arms can go before the rest of the body has to do too much. 2 more, and the arms will finish back behind you. You're going to bend your elbows and straighten your elbows. The tips of the elbows are pointed back behind you the entire time. The navel's drawing in towards your spine. 2 more. Finish with the elbows straight. Make little circles for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the arms down by your sides. Bring the feet back together. I'll turn to face you again. Turn your palms to face up. So rotate not just the wrists, but the entire arm is rotating in the socket. Collarbone's even a little bit wider. Palms are facing up. I'm going to take my arms on up to a V. The arms the entire time will be slightly forward of my body. We turn sideways so that you can see. So palms are facing up. I take my arms again on a V shape. So if I hang forward, you can see my arms are in a V. They're not out to a T. They're slightly forward. Arms will float up as my shoulders drop down. Arms will finish up in a V shape and then slowly lower back down again. Palms are facing up the entire time. Your goal with this is to go slow, trying to get both arms to move at the same rate, all the way up and all the way down to that V. And watch that as you start to lift, the shoulders don't start to do the lifting. Can you see that the shoulders drop as the arms float up? So if that means you don't get all the way up to a V up here, then maybe you get to here, or maybe just arms out to a T, palms facing up, that's also fine. Your other option is to get rid of the weights completely and just do the arms minus the weights. So again, our goal is for the arms to move symmetrically and the shoulders to drop down the back slightly as the arms float up. And they technically slide up slightly as the arms go down, but we're not shrugging the shoulders up to our ears. It's a slight little movement of the shoulder blade up and down. What's also happening as the arms go out and up, the shoulder blade's going to swing like this also. There's a little turning of the shoulder blade as well. We're allowing that movement to happen. You may or may not notice it. That's okay. But just so you know, that's what's happening as the arms go up, the bottom tip of the shoulder blade swings out. As the arms come back down, it swings back down. One more time, finish with the arms in that V, either with the weights or without the weights. Rise up onto your tippy toes, lower your heels. Keep the weight for this slightly forward onto the balls of the feet and the toes. Keep the toes pressing down so when the heels lower, the toes don't come off the floor. The toes stay pressing down the entire time. And the space between the ankles stays the same. So as you come onto your tippy toes, there's going to be more weight on your big toe than your pinky toe. So it's going to be a little different than when the feet are flat on the floor. As you start to rise, that little pinky toe doesn't have nearly as much weight on it. So you're watching the ankles stay parallel to each other rather than weight going onto the pinkies and the ankles swinging out away from each other. So keep those long toes pressing down into the mat. Also, can you keep your toes straight as you lift your heels? Or do they tend to crunch under a little bit? So your goal is to try to keep those toes long and straight and pressing down into your mat. 2 more times. 1 more time. Lower the heels. Woo, lower your arms. Drop your weights or set them down. Give your shoulders a massage. Roll them around for a minute. Remember, Eric Franklin said, "Oh, it should feel really good." And purposely think, this feels wonderful. I love this. I love every single exercise you do in Pilates.